Did you miss me? Well, we're back and we're bringing you an interview with none other than Sean Paul. Of course, we discussed his new album, but as it is Riddim Chat fashion, we also dug a little deeper, discussing the need for unity, the increasing violence in Jamaica, and finding out which songs make Sean Paul emotional. So stay tuned. My name is Nay and you're watching Riddim Chat.
Your Riddim Chat. Reasoning.
Now, before we get into it, I just want to remind our German speakers that the new Riddim magazine is out now, available to buy at any good newsstand, or you can also simply order it online under www.riddim.de. Or you can go ahead and buy yourself a subscription. It's only €20 a year. Today's guest on Riddim Chat truly does not need an introduction. Collaborating with artists from Sia, Dua Lipa and Beyoncé, he played a major role in bringing dancehall to an international audience. Of course, we are talking about none other than Sean Paul. On his new album Life N Livin, he features 15 collaborations with various reggae and dancehall artists. While the breakout singles Life We're Living featuring Squash and Then Not Ready Yet featuring Left Side draw for the party vibe we know and love Sean Paul for, he surprised us in December of last year with Guns of Navarone. Featuring Jesse Royal and Muta Baruka, Guns of Navarone carries a very conscious message. Sean Paul tells us how it came about.
The combination came about. One day I just came here to the studio and this guy knew from Money Matters Entertainment. You can look and say hi, bro. This is the man that runs my label. So Dutty Rock Productions, when I'm on tour a lot and whatever, he's the person taking care of it. And so I came home one time from tour and I came to the studio, which he didn't know I was outside, and the door was open and there was no one here and it was the middle of the night and I heard this rhythm coming from the studio. I was like, damn, that's dope. And I started to do these rhymes to it. And I don't know why it started to gravitate towards that. You know, in Jamaica, we have a very violent society, especially now. Sometimes it's hard to deal with. I've had friends that have passed away from violent means. And, you know, every now and then a conscious song like this comes to materialize with me, and this one was something that I just wanted to speak about. So I came inside. I said, "News, is that tracked out yet?" He said, "Oh wow, I didn't know you're here." He said, "No." I said, "I'm getting a nice melody and lyrics, man. Let's track it. Let's go." He said, "Okay." Tracked it quick. I went in there and spit the verse and the chorus, but I got stuck on the second verse. I didn't want the song to sound monotonous. I didn't want it to sound too preachy, and I didn't really know where to go with it. So for a while we sat on the song, you know, and when the idea of putting out a certain singles came about, or even putting an album together, which was Live and Living, we brainstormed who was we gonna get. New suggested maybe we try one of these younger reggae people who don't really do a lot of dancehall tracks. Maybe we use Jesse Royal because they're still DJing. So I shouted him, he came here immediately. And you know, that the rest is history. It's a song about the circle of violence that we find ourselves in Jamaica. And it's trying to be the change that we see in the society, that is trying to be the change that we want to see in the society. And so big up to Jesse Royal, big up to Muta Baruka, and also Stoneboy. He came here 4 weeks ago and sat down outside and heard the album and said, "I have to get on this album, boy." And I was like, "Nah, bro, it's done." and he was like, "Nah, let me hear some more tracks." And I played him this one and he went berserk. So he was like, "Bro, let me get on this." And I was like, you know, maybe this is a remix. So the track was hit by News. Also, the idea to put Jesse Royal in it was News's idea. And also, when Stoneboy was bombarding me with wanting to get on the album, it was News's idea as well to put him on the remix. So big up to News, big up to Muta Baruka, big up to Jesse Royal and Stoneboy and everybody who likes the message in the song. Not many times do people get such strong messages from me, but I think they're important, especially in these times.
And the times we are living in right now are not easy for most. However, the pandemic has disproportionately affected the global south. As anywhere, violence is rising, also in Jamaica. We asked Jean-Paul on his thoughts on the current situation.
No one can explain that. I can just say that we don't bring guns into the country, the regular man on the street. We're not the politician, and we're not the person who is a big money man who owns a wharf. You know, the people who are using these guns are not the people bringing it in. So that's the only thing I keep trying to remind them, that yo, you're not bringing in these guns, but you're pulling the triggers on each other. It has to do with all kind of reasons, not political anymore. It started in Jamaica like that, where politics would, you know, have guns and try to have their own soldiers, so to speak. But then it moved into, you know, people hustling, drug money. Now it's scamming money, and people are just greedy right now, and you know, they don't remember themselves, man. And so it's unfortunate. And also, for me, I don't say that a song will make a kid pick up a gun and shoot another person, but I do say that the sentiment or the complacency that we're having with violence right now has a lot to do with us keep on repeating it over and over in songs. You know, word sound power is something I believe in. If you say things or think of things a lot, they start to happen. And so I think it has to do with a lot of reasons. But right now, music is embellishing it, and we're becoming complacent. So I don't want to see that no more. So try to kind of talk against the violence in the music, because we should be able to lead the way as artists morally, and you know, educate and also entertain people, and show them the light in this darkness that we're in.
And this is what Jean-Paul succeeds in with his new album, Life and Living. The 16 tracks feature a total of 21 reggae and dancehall artists. Not only does it showcase the great talent coming out of Jamaica, but it also promotes unity. Even DeMarco and Massacre seem to have settled their beef while working together on Everest, which Massacre features in and DeMarco produced. Jean-Paul tells us more about the album.
You know, for years we have been a culture which is very vibrant and spicy and hardcore and very potent. You know, we go at each other a lot. You know, Bonte and Beanie was probably the biggest example, and big up to them. You know, that style of creation with music is pretty dope when you look at it, and it takes a lot of skill. But after a while, after so much years, it's been 30 years that we are continuing to sing these type of things. I just kind of got tired of it, and seeing that certain producers can't voice certain artists because they're warring, and certain producers can't even go to a dance because that's someone else's territory, and they can't, you know, they don't want the camps to get all upset. Certain artists won't voice on certain producers' tracks because another artist is on it. It's really damaging the music. Our music is supposed to reflect life in its true sense. So also, when we keep on talking about violence, we embellish it, and we don't talk about you know, the problems that happen, the paranoia that we feel as the gun, you know, as a gangster. We don't tell how paranoid we are when the police is looking for us. We just tell these big highfalutin stories of how much we win by being the gangster. And so I think that a lot of energy and focus is being put on the clashing people, but they didn't, you know, when Bunty and Beanie was warring and stuff, they didn't see Serrani or me going through the gates, the international gates, and being like a star and just making great strides for the genre itself. And so the whole concept of the album is unity, and it's about creative competition, and that, you know, me, Skillibeng and Massacre on one track are really going hard, but not at each other. We're going hard at the track to make the track better. We're competing with each other to make the album better. So everybody on the album I work with, I have a very great respect for their talent, also for their determination and dedication. You know, I mean, a lot of people come from an inner city who I'm working with on this album, and it's hard to just exist in a situation like that. You know, big up Busy Signal, big up Left Side, big up Buja Bantan, big up Duga Man, big up Mavado, big up Skilly Bang, Massacre, Governor. They're all on the album, and that for that reason, it gives the album a very good vibes of, you know, party songs, but also songs to more think about and bring people together kind of vibe.
Talking about clashes, yes. Clashes have always been a big part of dancehall culture. Maybe it's just a nostalgia in me, but I feel like the clashes that we see today don't carry the same entertainment value like they did before. But what changed?
I mean, it was entertaining for sure. And there's clashes you can even see on YouTube right now where the artists are clashing for fun. You could definitely see it's fun. Beanie Man and Sizzler and Ninja Man, and there's a Beanie Man and Ninja Man also that's clashing on YouTube. You can type those in and find out. Those are funny. Those are dope because they're going back and forth and they're not being vindictive towards each other. You know what I mean? And that's where I kind of feel it gets to the point where it's just too much, and where, you know, to say that an artist can sell an alcoholic beverage by doing a song about it, or to say that an artist can sell a condom with his own name on it, and someone would buy that and put it on his own appendage to use it, it means that the artist is powerful. It means that the artist has a definite power. So you can't tell me that we are not influencing kids. And so when you do come on the stage and you start being more derogatory, that's when it starts getting crazy for me. And not only derogatory, but glorifying death and these things is disheartening as someone who is a spiritual person and someone who has buried my own friends from gunshots. I just don't want to hear it no more. You know, where, as I said, Ninja Man is very clever, and people like you know, Beanie Man and Bounty Killer, you know, doing their thing over the years. Back in the day, Papa San used to clash with Lieutenant Stitchy, and both of them are now Christian artists. But again, as I said, it wasn't very derogatory forms. They never called each other's mother's names or kids' names in the song. So I don't know where it started to go this way, but we started to get more and more hardcore, and there's no rules. So like in battle rap, there's rules sometimes. You know, they're like, you have 40 seconds to answer him. We don't pay attention to those rules. It's majority rules and what the crowd says. And everybody knows in society that a mob has no head. You know what I mean? A mob has no head. It's just we follow the strength, the energy. And if the energy is becoming more and more negative, we're following and becoming more and more negative. So I don't like it, bro. And as I keep saying, I just want to be the change that I want to see in the universe. There's a lot of emphasis that's been put on clashing in our culture. But what happened to the people like myself or Shaggy or Conscience or Charlie Blacks or Coffee or you know, Cranium? These people are streaming great numbers. You know, might not be big international numbers like a lot of us are not doing all those numbers, but it's still actually doing more for the genre than the clashing is. And so I just kind of try to want to make that point with this album. You know, unity, collaboration over clash. Let's go get the cash. I don't see other genres really doing it. You know, hip hop genre is a genre where people battle also, but that's more based on skill when they do that. And if they do go to the records and say derogatory things, we've seen what's happened.
Someone is at the studio doorbell.
Hello. we've seen what has happened with people like, you know, God rest their soul, Tupac and Big, and they're two dope artists that could have been representing even up to this day and maybe changed the genre, but they're no longer here. So to me, that clashing thing is just never or a battle. I just don't want to see it no more. I've seen too much violence in my life.
Life and Living definitely showcases unity, but it also shows that dancehall is still a force to be reckoned with.
People say to me, even in my own genre, oh, dancehall is dead, man. The kids don't care about it no more. You know, even the kids making the music don't care about the history. That's why the music's sounding like it's changing. When I go abroad, too, people say, "Oh, you know, dancehall is dead, but you're doing good," and that pisses me off. That makes me feel upset because dancehall is a music I loved. I embraced it. It took me here to where I am today in my life, and I want to see continue. And it has found its way in every genre that I can think of that's popular right now. Reggaeton, you know, Afrobeat has been influenced lately by uh, all of these pop people like Rihanna and Justin Bieber and the major lasers and you know, Sway Lee and what's his name, the guy from Egypt. Yeah, but they all are doing some form of, you know, Drake. They're all doing some form of what dancehall has offered to the world. Zestin music in Trinidad. I don't know if you know that, but also, you know, people like Seed in Germany. A lot of dancehall influences there. So we're such a powerful music, and I want people to understand that. So I call the album Live and Living. You know, check the pulse. We ain't dead. There's a lot of dope MCs here still. Buju, people like Junior Gang, who are established artists. But again, I keep going back to these names: Massacre and Skillabeng and Governor. They're dope artists. You know, just for the people, for a mass of people to kind of get an understanding of what is being said. Now, I don't understand Spanish or I don't understand German in that respect, but I could dig a song from those cultures. Um, so so I feel that even though we speak a broken English that's indigenous to Jamaica, it's still pretty dope work that we're able to do, and people follow the vibes of it all over the world. So it's my statement to the world, and it's my me trying to lead by example for my own genre.
Seeing how dancehall has influenced some major hits around the globe, when you look at the genre, I feel like it is not quite where it actually should be.
True, I agree. Um, that you know, when you're in a box, it's kind of hard to see from outside of the box. So we've been producing this music here in this box, and other people hear it, take vibe for it, and say, "Hey, that's great." And when they try to tell us maybe we go take it in this direction, we're like, "Nah, we don't do it like that." So we're in the box. So that's why I started to work with so much different producers from all about Banks and Ranks and Stargate and, you know, people like that, because I think I've mastered what we do here, and I want the sound to become different. If you think about, you know, rock music, Chuck Berry's rock music doesn't sound like Kurt Cobain's rock music, but it's still rock music. It just evolved to that point. And so they got there by experimenting, by using new instruments, different instruments, by listening to other types of genres, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do with my own dancehall. Kind of bridge the gap. You know, it happens with every music also as well. I mean, when people say pop music, it's definitely influenced by whatever is a big hot music at the time. Hip hop, dancehall, even reggaeton at this point can become, you know, a pop thing. So yeah, for me, it's like, even though a lot of us are not seeing that light and seeing and picking out exactly what international circles like from what we've done before. You know, look at the big songs, and then try to recreate it with moving towards the future with it, take it to a different place. I find that a lot of times we're doing the same thing over and over again. Um, for that reason, I didn't really want to do much reggae tracks myself. I love reggae music, uh, but but I just thought that no one could do it better than the people who taught me. And that dancehall music was a new music, and I was getting involved in that to make my mark there. I have a couple big reggae songs for sure. You mentioned, I'm Still in Love, and I've done songs like Hold My Hand, and I've done recently a song named Chronicles for Baby G, which is a dope song. But I just thought that the greats did it, and I can't do it better than them, man. So I tried to change the sound and we moved to dancehall, and then we're existing now as something that can be manipulated to have a more pop sound. And I think that sometimes it's good to do that. On this album, I don't do that a lot. The song with Busy would be the boom song with Busy would be a kind of like a more commercial crossover type of appeal. But again, when hip hop started in the Bronx, and it was dope, and then it moved to Brooklyn and Queens, and it was the music for quite some years, and then it started to move to the South and to West Coast, and even Germany and France, and that's an indication that the music is just powerful and it's gonna do what it's gonna do. So it's up to the people who are the originators to now learn as well from all of these innovations that the world is showing us how they play. And that's what I've been doing. Got to Love You was really scrutinized, and also things like songs like She Doesn't Mind. People were like, that's not traditional dancehall. And I'm saying, well, these guys are using certain instruments and chords that I don't think we're utilizing in our music right now. And so I try to keep some parts of it to the root. The drum and the bass is important to me, to keep to the root of what you call a dancehall track. But then all the rest of stuff that will be played by these different producers and musicians, I'm learning from them, and I think it's a great thing.
Now, Rhythm Chat Reasoning wouldn't be the same if we didn't ask the artist a question on a more personal level. So for the last question, we want to know, which songs make you emotional?
Okay, Bob Marley, Jalif. Now, Jalif is a song that he wrote in 1978, I believe, or 76, after King Selassie passed away. And so that was just a sad thing, because he's saying in the lyrics, fools say in their heart that Rasta, your God, is dead. And for me to look at his career, has based his whole life off of realizing that this man is the Messiah to him. And for people to say that he was gone off of this earth now, it's a very sad thing. And when I learned the concept of what he was speaking of, it did make me tear up. Also, when I got a song in my own song, Never Gonna Be the Same, it was all tears for me. It's a song about my brother who passed away, and my aunt in the same year, and a couple other people that we had just lost. My first girlfriend actually is shown in the video in that song, and I call her name in the end of the song, Nicole Winter. She died of a brain tumor when we were 18 years old. So songs like that. But also, I've gotten a love song that made me even tear up. It was beautiful to me. Hold My Hand. It was a beautiful song. And so when I teared up, not because of what I was saying in the song, but just because I was thanking God for me being able to do this. It was such a beautiful melody. I don't know where I got it from. And the lyrics was just coming together amazingly. And I had to take a moment to be like, whoa, breathe and let it go. So those are some of my songs, and a Bob Marley song that has made me feel emotional,
So that's it, peeps. Thank you, Jean-Paul, for being so open with us. His new album, Life and Living, came out on Jean-Paul's own label, Dutty Rock Productions, and is now available on all platforms. See you next time on Rhythm Chat.